Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. I'm here with another paper, Computer Science IGCSE 0478, Paper 2-3, Paper 2, Algorithms, Programming and Logic. This is of October-November 2025. The duration of the paper is 1 hour 45 minutes. You have to answer on the question paper. No additional materials are needed. You have to answer all the questions, use a black or dark blue pen. You are allowed to use an agri pencil for the diagrams or graphs. You have to write your name, candidate number, and center number in the boxes at the top of the page. Write your answer to each question in the given space. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid. Do not write on any barcodes. Calculators must not be used in this paper. The total marks for this paper is 75. The number of marks for each question or part question is given in brackets. No mark will be awarded for using the brand names, so please refrain from using the brand names at all. Question number 1. Give 3 ways of creating a maintainable program. So maintenance, the last stage of program development life cycle. So what are they expecting us to write here? Use of meaningful identifiers. You have to use comments as needed. The use of procedures or functions. Besides this, if you recall, the indentation, the use of capital for the keywords, for the reserved words. So these are a few of the important things that are a part of your maintainable program. Question number 2. For descriptions of programming techniques and 5 programming techniques are given. Draw one line from each description to the relevant technique. Not all techniques will be used. So you can see here, we have adding up a set of numbers, displaying the result of a calculation, executing a set of instructions based on a condition, executing the same set of instructions multiple times, and the techniques are output, selection, totaling, iteration, counting. So do you want to attempt it yourself, and then we'll see that our answers are matching or not. Come on, your time starts now. Okay, done? Okay, adding up a set of numbers, that is totaling. Displaying the result of a calculation, that is your output. Executing the number of instructions, a set of instructions based on a condition. Condition is selection. And then lastly, executing the same set of instructions multiple times. This is your iteration. So this will be your 4 out of 4. If you have done it accurately, then 4 marks are going to be yours. And counting is not to be included anywhere. But by the what is counting? When you count the values plus one, it's not addition of a set of numbers, it's addition of one in your answer, that is your counting. Perfect. Now question number 3. Tick one box to identify the most appropriate data type to store letter M, and this letter M is in single quotation. Integer, char, real, or boolean. See, it's so simple, it's char. So char is the right answer. You tick this one and you will be able to score 1 out of 1 so easily. Question number 4. Tickets for a theme park are booked online. An adult ticket costs $12.99 and a child ticket costs $7.99. A booking fee of $1.99 is added to the total cost of each booking. Write an algorithm in pseudocode to input the number of adult tickets for a booking, input the number of child tickets for a booking, calculate and output the total cost of the booking using an appropriate message. So it's a 4-mark question, and what they expect us to do. You need to have input of adult and child places. How many are there? Calculation of total of adults and child places with booking fee to be added. Do not forget about that. That's why I've highlighted it for you people to understand and remember, and outputting the total using an appropriate message. So since they have not given us any particular variables, so it means the variables is our choice, and this is just an example program. Just before you take the input in the number of adults or the number of children, a message for the user to know that what he has to perform. Like you can see here, output, please enter the number of adults, and input is taken in the variable adults. Then output, please enter the number of children. Input is taken in the variable child. And now, after we are done with these four lines, it means that we know the number of adults and the number of children who are attending, who are going to the theme park, who will be going to the theme park, and simple now calculations are supposed to be done. So adult is 12.99 for each. So adult into 112.99 in the brackets plus child variable is holding the number of children into 7.9, that is the cost of the tickets for the children, and do not forget to add the booking fee of 1.99 for each booking. And in this manner, if you have taken the, maybe assume that you have input 10 adults, so 10 into 12.99 plus 5 children, so 5 into 7.99 plus the booking fee of 1.9 will be added, and we simply have an appropriate message like total cost is, and then your comma, then total message and variable are separated by a comma in between, and in this manner you will be able to gain 4 marks so easily. Such an easy question that deals with simple sequence logic. Part B. Each booking must have at least one adult ticket. See, this is one that we are going for a sort of a validation. Explain how the algorithm could be changed to repeatedly ask for the number of adult tickets if the number of tickets, if the number of input is less than one. So now just concentrate on the keywords repeatedly. Now you can see for yourself, this repeatedly means we have to think that it's basically a sort of a validation check. Ask for the number of adult tickets if the number of input, if the number input is less than one. It means what am I supposed to do? First thing is I am supposed to add either a while loop or a repeat until loop. And within this repeat until loop, I need to go for a suitable message, and the input of adult is again going to be inside either the repeat until loop or the while loop to go for checking that the input of adults should be above one. At least one. It says it's not less than one. So it means with the correct condition. So with correct condition means that I need to check that the number of adults, if the variable is adult that we have used here, so adult should be greater than one. So since they've asked me to explain the algorithm, I'm not asked to write the algorithm or write the corrected form. That's why this is what they expect you to write for a 4-mark question. Assume on the contrary, if they had asked you to write the pseudocode for that. So I hope that we can handle it so easily, isn't it? We'll simply go with repeat. We'll take the input of adult. We'll go for until adult greater than one. And inside this repeat until, we can have a message for the user to know that he has entered a value which is an abnormal value. Okay. And now I think we are very clear about these validation checks. Just asking, which validation check do you think has been applied here? If number input is less than one. Okay, great. Wonderful, Ali, that you remember that it's one lower bound only checked or one value is being checked. So it's not going to be range check. It will be a limit check. Perfect. That's very nice. So that you remember for whatever we have learned. So it's going to give you 4 out of 4 if you have inserted all the 4 points, if you've written all the 4 points accurately, maintaining the sequence, then 4 marks are going to be yours. Now, part C. The theme park has rules for a person to be able to go on a ride. A person can go on a ride x equals to 1 only if they are 1.4 meters tall or over, are 12 years old or over, do not have a medical condition. So these are the 3 checks that need to be followed in order for any person or any adult or a child to be able to take the ride. I can see. Now there are 3 variables or 3 inputs: A, is for the like the meters. Under 1.4 meters, it's going to be denoted as a 0. 1.4 meters or above is going to be 1. Second input B is for the age. Under 12 years means it's going to be shown through a 0. 12 years old or over is going to be a 1. C is denoting a medical condition. Does not have a medical condition is a 0. Has a medical condition is a 1. So we have three inputs, and you can see are 1.4 meters tall or over. It means 1.4 meters or over is a 1. So this is why I have highlighted this one for you. Are 12 years old or over means 12 years old or over is again highlighted for you to comprehend. And the last situation or the last condition was do not have a medical condition. So does not have a medical condition. That is for C, it's going to be a 0. So how will we attempt this question? You can see they are simply asking you to write the logic expression for this problem. Logic expression A, it's a 1. So simply write A as 1. That is your A. Now, let me make it simple for you to A. This is your A. And then you can see then it is your B, and B is going to be 12 years or over. B is again a true. So that is again a 1. So this is my B, and the third condition was does not have a medical condition, that was a 0. So we have after this and a not C because the condition was a 0 here. So this is how you can obtain 1.4 meters or above is A is a 1 and B is a 1. That's why we wrote A and B, and all the three conditions are supposed to be met. That's why the use of an and in between. And since the input C is a 0, that's why we have used a not C here. So the final expression will be A and B and not C, and that will give you 2 out of 2. Now moving to the next part 2 of C. Complete the truth table for this problem. So if you have written this expression properly, only then your truth table will be accurate. So what we have done, we've used our working space for ABC, A and B. So you can see A and B. For this, what we have done is we have simply taken these two, and we have formed this A and B. 0 and 0, a 0, 0 and 0, a 0, 0 and 1, a 0, 0 and 1, a 0, 1 and 0, a 0, 1 and 0 is a 0, 1 and 1 is a 1, and 1 and 1 is a 1. So you can see the final answer for A and B is going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, because 1, 1 will give you the value of 1 here. 1, 1 will give you the value of 1 here. After that, we have taken not C, the one that we have talked about. So it means it is simply converting notting the variable C. So what you obtain is C 0 becomes a 1, 1 becomes a 0, 0 becomes a 1, 1 becomes a 0, 0 becomes a 1, 1 becomes a 0, 0 becomes a 1, and 1 becomes a 0. So not C is going to be 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0. In this manner, we have obtained A and B, not C. The final column X is dependent on A and B and not C. It means 0 and 1 a 0, 0 and 0 a 0, 0 and 1 a 0, 0 and 0 a 0, 0 and 1 is a 0, 0 and 0 is also a 0, 1 and 1 will be a 1, and 1 and 0 will be a 0. It means in order to accomplish any person to write the theme park thing, he needs to have inputs of A and B as 1 and the input of C is a 0. Only then he will be allowed to go for a ride. And in this manner, if you have entered all the values properly using the working space appropriately, then you will be able to score 4 out of 4 very easily. 4 marks and 2 marks, again, so simple. Now, up till now, in such a short time, we have attempted the question so well, isn't it? Now, moving to question number 5. This is my question number 5. A program has been written in pseudocode to input 5 numbers between 1 and 900 inclusive and store the highest number and the lowest number entered. So this is my pseudocode and I have some test data below it. Let's see. Complete the trace table for the algorithm using the following numbers. So these are my numbers and let's start attempting it together. Now this is my, you can see line number 1, lowest equals to 900, highest equals to 1. For count, assignment operator 1 to 5. Input number, if number less than lowest, then lowest equals to number, else if number greater than highest, then highest equal, assignment operator number, end if, next count. And this is my pseudocode. Let's start. Do you want to try it yourself? Okay, fine. Come on, let's do it together. We are starting with the very basic thing. The first line, lowest equals to 900 and highest equals to 1. Lowest equals to lowest equals to 900 and highest equals to 1. You can do it together also. Lowest equals to 900 and highest equals to 1. Now, what happens next is for count equals to 1 to 5, input number, and we are simply checking the value of number with the variables lowest and highest. Now, let's start. Input of number is taken and the value of count is 1 and the input of number is going to be 563. The first input that we have taken from here, this is my first input. So we are simply going to check, is the value of number 563 less than lowest? Is 563 less than lowest? Yes, you can see 563 is less than 900. So that is why we are simply going to store in lowest the value of 563 because the condition is met. Now, do you want to attempt this question a little bit yourself? Okay, fine. Just carry on. Just try to attempt this question and then let's see, is our answer matching or not? Come on, giving you 2 minutes to solve this question. Okay, you have tried to attempt a few of the stages. Okay, now no worries at all. Let's do it together. I'm doing it and you can check your answers while I'm attempting the question. Now after that, you can see number is input 563. It's less than lowest 900. That's why we have done it and it is though there's no else and it moves to endif and then to next count. So you can see here the value of count will change and the value of count will now become 2. Now the next input will be taken as 21 and 21 will be checked and now again you can see 21, the number that is input will be checked against the value of lowest. Since 21 is less than the value of lowest, so that is why it will be changing the value of lowest and it will now become 21, isn't it? The value of lowest will now become 21. And the value of highest will still remain 1. Now, after that, the next input is taken, but before that, there is a change of the count value, and the count value now becomes 3. And now the value is 376. So 376 will be moving to with the variable number, and now it will be checked against the value of is 376 is 376 less than lowest? You can see for yourself. Is 376 less than lowest? No, it's not less than lowest. That is why it will move to else and now the value of number will be moving to highest. So in this manner, you can see the value of number is going to be moving to the variable highest now. 376, it is not less than lowest, but it is greater than the highest value that is 1. That is why it will update the value of highest and it will now become your 376. Again, the loop will be again, you can say moving back to the for loop, and the value of count will become now 4, and the next input is going to be 99. After 99 is input, you can see for yourself it will be checked against the lowest value. Is it less than lowest? Is 99 less than lowest? The condition is false. Is 99 above highest? That is also false. So that is why the value of 376 will remain as highest, and the value of 21 will remain as lowest. There is no change in lowest or highest variables, because 99 is neither less than the lowest value nor higher than the lowest value. I hope that it's very much clear. Now moving to the fifth time the input is taken, and the last input is 400. So after 400 is input, you can see is 400. Now moving back to this question, is 400 less than lowest or is 400 greater than highest? 400 less than lowest, that is not correct. Is 400 above highest? That is correct. So that is why it will update the value of highest by 400, because the value of, see, 400 is not less than 21. The condition is false. That is why it will move to the else, and it is going to check the condition if number greater than highest. If number, that is 400, greater than 376, and that is true. So that will result in changing the variable highest, and it will now become 400. And now the loop is terminated. By the way, if you just go through this one, what is happening here? We have learned the concept of highest and low is perfect. But let's see, is it giving me the right answer? By the way, we have used 563, 21, 376, 99, and 400. Out of this, once the loop is over, the value of lowest is 21. It's correct. But what about the highest? Is it correct? Is 400 the highest value? No, it isn't. It means that there's some logic error, exactly. So you can see here, part B is dealing with the algorithm does not work correctly. States the reason why the algorithm does not work as expected. Explain how the algorithm could be corrected. Any code used must be fully explained. So they want you to actually talk about the reason. Reason, as we talked about, the highest score is incorrect. That is what we observed. Through the running and through the dry run of the pseudocode, we came across the values are not giving me the right answer, because the highest is incorrect, because algorithm is not evaluating the highest value as it is evaluating the lowest value. Lowest value is accurate, but highest value isn't. What can we do? We simply replace the else with an. You can see what can I do? How can I make it a little better? I can simply replace this else with end if. And I have another if here, and then this is how we can simply, because you can try it out yourself. This is what I kept on telling you. Remember, when we were working on our maximum and minimum, lowest or highest, I kept on telling you that we need to have two separate ifs. We are not going to do it with if or else if. And this is what you can see here. They've asked somewhat similar thing in our paper. We have to replace this if with an else with an end if, and we have to have another if just to check the lowest value and the highest value separately. And in this manner, your algorithm will work completely efficiently. So this is how you can improve your algorithm, make corrections in the algorithm, and it will be producing the right result. The way we said, replace else in line number 8 with end if, and remove end if from the last line. That is line number 13. And or you can say, rather than using nested if, we need to have single if statements for checking both the highest and the lowest. And in this manner, you will be able to score 2 marks, because you have identified the problem accurately and you have written the right corrected statement also. You have stated the correction that is needed to be included in your pseudocode to get the task done. Question number 6. Now let's move to question number 6 here so we can understand, and then let's see what question number 6 is dealing with. The flowchart represents an algorithm. Now let's see this one. The flowchart represents an algorithm, and what is the algorithm talking about? Start, position, assignment operator -1, count is 1, input name. Is name equals to class list of count? Yes, so position equals to count. And then the flow of the flowchart is moving to this end. If it is not the case, then it is going to increase the value of count by 1. Is count greater than 5? Yes. So it is going to output. Otherwise, it will move back. It will keep on checking the value of name with the class list of count. Let's see what the question is. The algorithm uses the 1D array class list that contains the following data. So class list is my array that has 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Values at these locations are Henel, Sven, Ella, Asya, Ridwan. Complete the table by writing the output from the flowchart when each of the given names are input. Now let's start. What are the names and what will be the outcome? The first name in this list is Ridwan. And you can see what is done. Let's move one by one. Position equals to -1 because we started with the start count equals to 1. Input name is Ridwan. We are starting with this one. Is name equals to class list of count? Is name Ridwan equals to class list of 1? So you can see 1 is my count, and is Ridwan matching with Henel? See, Ridwan is my first name and I'm just checking Ridwan with Henel. Is it matching? Is Ridwan and Henel same? No. Now it will be moving to the count value will be increased by 1. The count value will now become 2. Is count greater than 5? Is 2 greater than 5? Now you can see we are simply checking the value of count against the value of 5. Is count, which is 2, greater than 5? The condition is false. So it will move up. And now it will check with the second value. Now Ridwan was checked with Henel and now we are checking with Sven. Are they matching? No, again they're not. So then it means it will now move in the same manner to no, and count value will be increased by 1. It will now become 3. Is count greater than 5? Is 3 greater than 5? Now that is again false. So it will again move back to the checking state, checking situation where now it will be checking with Ella. You can see Ella is again not matching. Ella and Ridwan are not matching. So again, the same process will be repeated. The count value will be increased by 1. It will become 4. It will check with the value H. Asya, is it matching? Again, Asya is not matching. So it will again move back to this one because of the value of count is increased by 1. It will now become 5. 5 greater than 5. The condition is still false. That's why it will move up and it will check now with the value at the 5th position. Asya was not matching. Now Ridwan was matching with Ridwan. So it means that now they both are equal because Ridwan equals to Ridwan. So in this manner, since the condition is true, that's why it will be moving to position equals to count. And position equals to count means position will be 5 because the value of Ridwan is present at location number 5. Now let's see. Position equals to count and then output position and stop. So output position means the value of 5 will be output here. Okay? And now stop. The work is now done. The next input is yarn and we are going to perform the same procedure with the new input of name that earlier it was Ridwan, now it is yellow, and it is now the next input is yarn. It will repeat the procedure of checking each individual item once again. Henel is not matching with yarn, Sven is not matching with yarn, Ella is not matching with yarn, Asya is not matching with yarn, even Ridwan is not matching with yarn. It means all the conditions are now false. It has checked the entire array and it has reached the point where none of the elements are matching and the value of count is increased by 1 and the value of count has now become 6. 6 greater than 5. Now I'm talking about the value of, and we are done with Ridwan. Now we are working on the value of yellow, of yarn. And yarn was checked repeatedly for all the occurrences. None of the value was matching. It means it was now moving to the last stage and the value of count has now become 6. 6 greater than 5. You can see the condition is now true, yes, and that is why it will move down. It will output the value of position. And remember, position was initialized with -1 in the beginning. So for this yarn, the value of position is -1, and that will be output. And this -1 indicates that there is the element is not found. Excellent, Ali, that you remember that this is indicating that the element isn't found in your array. Okay, now that's great. So can you attempt it for Ella very quickly? Just repeat the same procedure. And we have done it for Ridwan and Jan, and do it for Ella very quickly. Come on. I hope that you can do it in a minute. I hope that we have all read the same answer for Ella, checking for Henel, not matching with Ella, Sven not matching with Ella, but location number 3 is matching with Ella. That is why for output for this one will be 3, and in this manner, you will be able to score 2 out of 2. Exactly, that's linear search. Great, wonderful. So you can see, identify the standard method of solution used by the flowchart. Standard method of solution, so they want you to write linear search. Okay, now part C, write this algorithm in pseudocode. Now for that, you are given the flowchart and you need to look at the flowchart and you need to write the algorithm in pseudocode. Now remember, this flowchart does not use any for, while or repeat until. It does not use any if or case also. These are some simple symbols being used which you have learned, and the use of the arrows and the lines, and we have to convert it into a pseudocode. So just for your understanding, it's done with all three of them so you can understand what they expect you to write. You have to initialize count and position properly. You have to input the name outside the loop. You have to use a suitable loop and condition checking statements to check the to check the array for occurrence of the element or the name in the array in the array. If the array is able to find the perfect name, then it is going to output the correct position and correct increment of count by 1. So let's start with the simple. You can see repeat until. And in repeat until, what are we doing? We can see for yourself, position equals to 1, count equals to 1, and input name. That is outside the loop. And then we are going to check the condition, and the checking of the condition is done inside the repeat until. Position 1, count 1, enter a name with a message and input name. Repeat. If name equals to class list of count, so remember the array name was class list and its location is count, which we have initialized with 1. If name equals to class list of count, then position equals to count and count equals to 6. Else, count equals to count plus 1. End if, and then we are finishing by using until count greater than 5, and then we are putting the position. Simple. We are simply looking at our flowchart and then we are interpreting what is supposed to be done. So any one done for you, like you can choose any, like the child can choose any of this structure, but loop is necessary. Definitely, loop is compulsory. So child can use repeat until or while or for to next. So here we are simply done with this repeat until. Position 1, count 1, input taken, repeat, and until the value of count is greater than 5. And you can see there is no matching that we have done for the value should be we are not going to utilize our own understanding is Ali. That be very, thank you very much. We have handled this repeat until by using an or in between and then going for found or something like that. No, it is perfectly okay to use it if you were asked to write a linear search pseudocode. But here, since they have asked us to convert the flowchart into its equivalent pseudocode, that's why we have to follow this very strictly. And that is why we are simply understanding the flowchart properly and putting it in here. I think it's very simple. Now moving to while loop. Again, you can see the first 4 lines are the same, whether you are using a repeat until loop or a while loop or you can say, actually, for to next is a bit different. For while, it's the same. Now the condition is checked before, that's why while count less than or equal to 5 do. If name equals to class list of count, then position equals to count, count equals to 6. Else count equals to count plus 1. So you can see why count is again done with 6. So there is no need to go further. That's why. So we are simply doing the way, and that is again a very important strategy that you need to understand. This is just done so that we can just, like for example, if it's if you have found the value. So then I think now Ahmed, you can understand also that rather than using the or and then checking for the second condition, this is also another strategy. Position is holding the value of count, and we are reinitializing the value of count as 6. So that 6 is greater than 5. Condition is true. So it will not move up, and that is why it will print the value of position, which was 3 or 5, the way we have found for Ridwan and Ella. Okay, same case goes here for while loop also. We have checked the condition, but just be clear, while is going to handle the condition in the beginning. That's why it is called a precondition loop. And repeat is going to handle the condition later. That's why it is called a post-condition loop. Again, the same thing. If name equals to class list of count, then position is going to hold the value of count, and count will be initialized with 6. Else count will be increased by 1, and we are going to repeat the process till the value of count is less than or equal to 5, and then we are outputting the value of position. So these both were a bit similar in nature. One is because they both are conditional loops, fine. But moving to the for loop, here we can see position is 1, enter a name the same way, but there is no need to have a separate line for initializing of the variable count, because we are handling all the things together in this. For count equals to 1 to 5, if name equals to class list of count, then position equals to count, and position will hold the value of count. That's why it is only the use of if here, and then next will move it back 5 times repeated, and after the loop is over, it will print the value of position. So this one is simpler, yes, understanding definitely, but we have learned linear search with the help of while loop or repeat until loop. So any of these loop structures written properly will gain you 6 out of 6. Okay, now I hope that there is no confusion, understood very properly. Okay, now question number 7. An algorithm has been written in pseudocode to input a whole number between 1 and 255 inclusive, convert the input to an 8-bit binary number, store each bit of the binary number in an array. For example, if the number 127 was input, the binary number 0 and then 7 ones would be stored in the array. Now this is your pseudocode. 1, line number 1, declare binary array colon array 1 colon 8 of integer, declare denary number colon char. Now line number 3, output please enter a whole number between 1 and 255 inclusive. Line number 4, input denary number. Line number 5, for count, assignment operator 7 to 1 step minus 1. Line number 6, binary array count, assignment operator mod denary number comma 3. Line number 7, denary number, assignment operator div denary number comma 2, next count. Identify the line numbers, the three errors in the pseudocode, and suggest a correction for each error. It's a very small program of converting a denary number to its equivalent binary value. So what are the errors? The first error is in line number 2, where you can see declare denary number char. It should be declared denary number integer. Fine, so we are asked to find out the error 1 line number. So we identified line number 2, declare denary number integer. Error 2 is in line number 5, where you can see for count equals to 7 to 1 step minus 1, which is wrong. It should have been 8 to 1 step minus 1, because there are 8 locations. 8 locations are here. That's why it will be from 8 to 1 step minus 1, as you can see here. And the third error is in line number 6, where we are performing the mod with a 2, not with a 3. So there are 3 errors that we have identified accurately. A very small program of converting a denary number to its equivalent binary value, and this is how the values are converted actually. So this is how you are able to find the answer, and marks are going to be yours. Now, the same question, part B. Identify one programming technique used in the algorithm. So we can see what have we done here. We have taken the inputs, we have output, or we have done the loop iteration. So a child can write any of these answers and he will be scoring 1 out of 1, because they are asking me to identify one programming technique. So if you say I've taken the inputs, perfect, outputs are done, perfect, iteration is there, perfect, he will be able to score 1 out of 1. Now, part C, C1. Algorithm can accept numbers between 1 and 255 inclusive as input. Two validation checks that could be applied to denary numbers are to denary number variable are a presence check and a type check. Identify one other validation check that could be applied to denary number. So presence check and type check they have told already. So it is going to be range check because we can see that 1 and 255 inclusive is giving me a very clear understanding that it's a range check and that is going to give you 1 out of 1. Write the pseudocode to implement the validation check you identified in C1. Now this is the pseudocode to be written. You do not need to rewrite the whole algorithm, just the check to ensure that the value is within the limit. So use a suitable loop, the way we have talked about, a repeat until loop or a while loop is going to be the best option to be used. Correct input of denary number and that will give you the marks 3 out of 3. So here, repeat until is the easiest one. That's why we have done it here. Repeat, input denary number until denary number greater than or equals to 1 and denary number less than or equal to 255. So simple. Just implementation of the range check the way we have learned. So if you have written these 3 lines accurately, you have written the word repeat, input taken, and until condition written properly, then 3 marks are going to be yours. And a child can use while loop also, that's perfectly okay. And you can do it with a while loop also, perfectly okay. Any question? Question number 8. A school has set up a database table equipment loan to record details of a school equipment loaned to students. There are fields, equipment ID, description, name, date loaned, returned. Give the name of the field that is most appropriate to be the primary key. So you can see which is holding the unique values. So it's equipment ID, that is the only field. Otherwise, there are fields that are containing duplicate values. So none of the field except equipment ID is capable to be the primary key. State the reason for choosing this field for the primary key. So it's a unique field, or it's storing unique data, or you can say no values are duplicated. So a very like easy answer, not a difficult one. No repeating data, no data is duplicated. That will give you 1 out of 1. Part B. Complete the structured query language or SQL statement to list equipment not returned. The list must contain only the descriptions and student names. Only the descriptions and student names. So we have to look back to the question and it says the fields as description name. So that is why we wrote select description comma name from equipment loan where to list equipment not returned. For that we need to see the field returned equals to no. So the final query will be select description comma name from equipment loan where returned equals to no, semicolon, and that ends your statement of SQL and you will be able to score 3 out of 3. Question number 9. The variables name, age, and found are used in a computer program. Name holds the name of a person. Age holds the age of a person as a whole number. Found holds a flag that can be set to true or false. Write pseudocode statements to declare the variables name, age, and found. So you can see name holds the name of a person. So that is why declare name colon string. It's a string value. Age holds a whole number. That's why declare age colon integer. The last one is found variable. Declare found colon boolean because it is either set to true or false. So if you have declared them properly using the same variable as is mentioned in the question and the proper data type, then 3 marks are going to be yours. Now the next part. The pseudocode, the procedure store data name stores the name of a person in the file people.txt. Write pseudocode statements to define the procedure with the parameter, store the name of the person in the file, and it's a 5-mark question. So what do they expect you to write? How are they going to bifurcate? How are they going to assign you the marks? First thing is if the child has used the right keyword procedure and the name of the procedure is to store data, as is mentioned here, we have to be very cautious with that. If the variables are used properly, like the name is procedure, store name and end procedure also properly used. So that will again give you, 1 mark. Procedure, store data, and end procedure. As you can see, procedure, store data, name, colon, string, and the keyword end procedure. That will give you 1 mark. Now, another mark is going to be defining the parameters correctly, as we talked about. Another thing is here, we have done it accurately. Now, opening the file properly, because since you are opening the file for storing the name of a person, for storage, it means it has to be opened in the right mode. So that is what you can see here. The next thing is the use of the correctly opening the file for write mode is the second thing, and that is what is done here. Open file people.txt for write. That will give you another mark. Correctly storing the name, that will give you the third mark. Correctly storing the name, and for that what are we supposed to use is write file, file name, comma name. The variable was name. The variable that was passed through the parameter was name. So that is what is very, very important. So that is why they have assigned 1 complete mark for using the right keywords, the right variables also, like not any variable, whatever is passed on to it through the procedure name. So write file, quotations, within quotations, you will mention the name of the file, that is people.txt. Again, people.txt, very important that you may need to see it from the question, and then comma, and then variable is name, and in this manner 1 mark is going to be yours. And lastly, for correctly closing the file, that is also very, very important, and we are going to choose this option for correctly closing the file, and that will give me the final 1 mark, and that is going to be written inside the procedure and end procedure. And you can see very important thing is indentation, just to make your code readable. And in this manner, 2 marks for the procedure and in procedure with the correct parameter, another mark for opening the file for write mode properly, and the mark for writing the name or the string properly in your file, then last mark for closing the file properly. And in this manner, 5 marks are going to be yours. Okay, now part 2. Write the pseudocode that uses the procedure store data to store the name Swella in the file people.txt. So we simply have to write the proper call statement, and you people know the keyword for calling a procedure is call and the procedure name. So you can see call, the name of the procedure is store data, and then we have to remember the value Swella is supposed to be passed on to the as a parameter. So Swella is supposed to be written within brackets, and this value will go to the variable name. I hope that it's very much clear. The value of Swella will go to the variable name, and in this manner you will be able to score 2 out of 2. 2 marks, one for using the call, and the second one for the correct procedure with the Swella, with the name. And in this manner 2 marks are going to be yours. Any questions? Anything that is confusing you people? Okay, for the last question, inshallah, we are going to have another lesson for that. For that, also hope that you have understood today's lesson for paper 2, 3, October, November 2025. Jazakallahu khairan kasira for being a part of the learning journey. Hope that you have understood each and everything properly with proper revision done. May Allah bless you. May Allah help you. Keep sharing the file the videos with your friends and family so that they all are going to benefit from it. May Allah bless you. Allah Hafiz. Take very good care of yourselves.